Well, first off, it would be John Benham, because when I was still at school, I was about 15, 16. He started me into match fishing. I actually went fishing with some friends of mine, and he was there. And I met him, and he said he was, fishes competitions at Dorking and a few open matches and that. So I started fishing with him a bit, and then we carried on going into matches, and started fishing the club matches first. And then I think in my second season in club fishing, I actually won the club championship. So I had a very good start, and I think that's probably what really got me going. I think if I'd have had a bad year or two, I probably wouldn't have carried on. But I had a good start, and then after that, it would have been the people that influenced me at the time. Probably Ray Mumford in Peter Burton. Lots of Kenny Collins. There was quite a few that I looked up to. Johnny McCarthy in that era, and then obviously in later years, people like Bob Nudd obviously made a big difference as well. That's a very difficult one to answer, because obviously I'm more influenced by the people in the area where I live, but obviously the likes of Kevin, Bob, and because obviously I've been involved with the England team and over the years, and I got to know them very well. And Kevin, Bob, and Alan Scotthorne as well. But the best for me that I've fished with is Will Raisin. To me, Will can do everything, and he's just a natural angler. He's been doing it since he was young, and he just turns his hand to anything very, very quickly. Oh, I can tell you that. Give me a minute. Hang on, where's my phone? I'll just look at the camera. I started match fishing when I was 16, so it's now, this year's 53 years. 16, no, 17. I was 17, I had my first match win and it was quite a big match actually. It was a 200 plus pegger on the Arun at Pulborough. And a bit like today really, I caught unusual fish out of the river. I caught a carp, a tench and some skimmers. So it was, yeah, a bit of luck, but it got me going. God, that's a very, very difficult question, because some of the matches, they're not necessarily ones I've won. They're matches where, especially fishing with the England team, when I've caught one or two fish from a very difficult day, those fish give me a lot of satisfaction, and on top of that, especially if we won as well. So I can't say individually wise, I wouldn't pick out anything on that, but the ones that spring to mind are the ones on difficult venues where I've managed to, either by luck or good judgment, I managed to catch one or two fish. Oh gosh, my best match weight, I think, is around, I think it was in Spain on a festival. I had 458 pounds, I think. My biggest match win, gosh, that's a difficult one again. Yeah, the First Division National would be my biggest match win. I think there was 600 and something in that, but that was, where'd that be, 10 years ago this year? Yeah, no, yeah, this year, 10 years ago. I think it's all seasonal with me. Through the summer months, I like to fish the carp matches now. F1s as well, but there's not so many F1 venues around here as what there are in other parts of the country. In the winter months, I prefer to fish for bream, skimmers, roach, and one of the two of the venues I go to, there's some great big perch, and when I mean big, I mean big, and then they're a real bonus on those days. So silverfish matches more in the winter, carp and F1s in the summer. We've got time. I think I've done 130 odd matches last year. It's only a lot of them small, but that takes up a lot of time. And obviously I like to prepare as well. I scrap everything. Once I finish fishing the day, all my rigs scrapped, start again. So yeah, no. On holiday I play a little bit of tennis, but I'm not very good at that. But it's a bit of fun. Well, things have changed a lot for me over the years. I mean, 20 years ago I wouldn't go, you know, odd years ago I'd just be fishing rivers nearly all the time. But now it changed to lakes. I think it would probably be, I'd probably say this would be one of my venues for sure, here, because it's one I've fished for years and years and years. So probably here. It's a little bit noisy here sometimes though. Well, I can tell you 3 things I've went to a match without that I shouldn't have done. Well, one was the keep nets. I've done that numerous times. And another time I actually went without, I left all my top kits at home. And the only person who had ones with I could borrow was, funnily enough, Mark Goddard, who I'm with today. And he lent me them, and the elastics were a bit strong, but I actually won the match with them. So that's the 2 most important things. What else would I'm trying to think of things I forget more than the important things. I think, yeah, keep nets and landing nets and top kits are the most important things. I can't think of a third right now. Probably my food and drink. No, none, no. I've had bad days obviously, and I've had good days, but there's nothing that I regret, no. Oh, you're right, there's too many to name. I couldn't think of one in particular, but there's, oh, hang on, I better catch this fish first. Oh, the competitiveness. I love it. I love it. I love competing. Pleasure fishing, if I go pleasure fishing, it's on holiday for big fish, different fish in the sea, but for me it's just the competitive nature, that's it. That's always been the same with me, and I still get a big buzz out of it now. Yeah, nice fish this one, nice condition fish, lovely. Look at that one. Lovely. My least favourite bit about match fishing, wind and rain. The wind, I think, because it affects how you can fish more so than the rain. It limits your tactics. That's the worst bit. The wind. No, I quite actually enjoy it. My wife actually says I spend more time in the, because I set up everything in my garage. I've got an integral garage and I've got everything in there, so I spend more time in there than I do in the house. I quite enjoy it. I think it's probably because I was an engineer for 20 years, and when you work in engineering and you have to do things precisely, it tends to make you a bit more, you know, I've got to get this right. I won't sleep properly otherwise. Again, it's what time of the year, isn't it, that one? It's a difficult one. I don't fish with casters much now. There's only one place I ever take them in now. So I'd have to say pellets. Coffee. Do you know, I can't remember that, to be honest, no. No, I'd have to look at my diary. Next match, yeah, Willinghurst on Wednesday the 31st of March, I believe. 30 pegger on Johns and top. Yep, fully booked already. The next one. Two. Obviously England was a very, very big one, but it was a very difficult one, and it was great winning. But the two that I remember most are France, because we beat the French on their own water, and Italy, beating Italy on their own water, because they've been the two most, their biggest rivals for years. So to beat them on their home patch were the two biggest ones for me. Yeah, we've had days when it's not gone right. Cool, I can't really say the worst one. God, and the one that upset me the most, I can tell you that one. That was in Willebroek in Belgium, where we got beat by the French by 1 point, and it was on a rowing course, catching bream mostly, and roach, some roach and perch, and the guy next to me caught a bream, and I wasn't watching, and because there was a lot of crowd behind me watching, and some of them were English, and it actually went out of his box when he went to net it, and they all shouted, and after the match it got disqualified and it cost us winning the title. And I was gutted about that, because I wouldn't have complained, you know, if a bream down here in the edge and it's just gone through. But in those days they were very hot on it, and we got beat by the French by 1 point, and if he'd have had that bream, he would have beat the French guy, and we'd have tied on points and beat him on weight. So that's the biggest disappointment, I'd say. First one was in Portugal, on the Mondeo in Coimbra. That was the first one, and I was very fortunate that I actually got picked because it was a style. I was doing a lot of waggler fishing, and it probably suited me, the type of fishing a waggler at range, and catching little barbel and odd small carp and whatever, and we won it. So that was a very good start for me. And the following year I wasn't really going to be going. Dick actually said, "You'll take you this year, but next year I'm going to take a canal team." And the next year they went out there, and the waggler was playing a part. And again, he picked a canal team. There was no Tommy or Ian or Dennis, and I thought, well, he's not going to pick me, and he did. And I asked him why, and he said, because I know you've been out practicing with Bloodworm and Joker for the last year, and I had with the rest of the Dorking team. Anyway, cut a long story short, I drew the same peg both days running. We had the same number, and I ended up second individual. And I think that, you know, that's the sort of start. You couldn't ask for a better start, really. What it does, I think, it gives the manager confidence in you, and I've seen it with other very, very good anglers where it didn't go for them, and they didn't get another opportunity. So I felt very lucky that it went for me on those particular occasions, and well, that was the start, and it carried on from there, really. 2013 in Poland, we actually won it. I didn't actually fish either day that year. I was a bit I don't want to say upset, I was a bit disappointed not to get in. I tried my hardest, but I didn't do it. But we won it, and I was pleased for that. Yeah, great. I can't ask for any more. 27 years, crikey, it's a long time.